Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, Radiating Beauty with myself, Denise. That's me, I'm Denise. How lovely to see you. I hope you had a really wonderful Christmas with family and friends, and you were just surrounded by all the people that love you and you love, and that all of your hard work and your preparation and your cookie baking and your meal prep and your shopping, you got to enjoy it and see all the fruits of your labor on Christmas Day. So I hope that was the case. Today I thought it would be really fun as kind of do a wrap up to 2023, that I would do something a little bit different that I've never done before. And I thought that I would go through and I would show you all the palettes in the last year that I received in my Boxycharm by Ipsy. If that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, seeing all the palettes that I received, either in the Power Picks or a U pick, or else it was the drop shops, then grab a drink and let's get into this video. And I try to go in chronological order from the one that I received first to the most recent ones, but somewhere in between there might be a few that are misplaced. With the very first one, which was kind of fun because I really have never tried this brand up until when I got it, and I thought it was a most unique color palette. And the first palette was Ace Beaute, and it was their Violet and Sage palette. But this palette was just such a pretty palette. A total of 10 eyeshadows. Never tried Ace Beaute before, and as you can see, very unique sort of color arrangement, like violets with greens, albeit I love violets, I love greens. I just didn't think the two would go together, and actually they really go together nicely and they complement each other. And then I like this bottom row down here, because if you didn't want to do really sort of like, you know, crazy pops of colors, you could still create a very neutral, everyday, soft kind of like makeup look. So I just was really impressed with the actual pigmentation. I just love the purples. Like, look at the pigmentation on that. Could you imagine that? And to me, it was just kind of a really fun eyeshadow palette to actually play with, like, because those are colors that I certainly would not innately think would actually go together, but so much fun to actually right after with. I received my very first Ace Beaute, then the next time I saw the drop shop, I thought what other Ace Beaute eyeshadows they had, because I really liked the formula for the price point. So I picked this up in the drop shop. It was actually $12. It is the Ace Beaute Floral Vintage Palette, and I really like this. Did a look with all of these beautiful colors, warm tones, you know, a couple of cool tones thrown in there, and lots of lovely shimmers. Look at some of these shimmers. I mean, if you have never tried Ace Beaute, I feel that you're just missing out, because you know how everybody talks about ColourPop and its price point. Well, Ace Beaute is equally a lovely eyeshadow formula, and so nicely pigmented, and they have just some really fun sort of like palettes, beautiful formula, and again for the price point, so nice. So those are my two Ace Beaute eyeshadow palettes that I received, and I couldn't be any happier to have them in my collection. Around that time I received a couple of other palettes that I had never tried before. That's the kind of fun of Boxycharm, and the first one was this one, which is Item Beauty, which happened to be from a TikToker, Addison Rae, a very young girl that had a lot of influence on TikTok and came up with a whole line of really nice makeup items. There was actually a couple of other items that I tried that I thought were beautiful, including this one. This is In My Element eyeshadow palette by Item Beauty, and this is kind of like an everyday neutral gal's dream, except again you've got the 6 kind of neutral mattes to play, which were nice, not overly pigmented but very blendable, and then of course some of these beautiful 4 shimmers on the outside. I think overall such a pretty and very functional eyeshadow palette for every day. So that was In My Element by Item Beauty. I think a very well-known indie brand, Wander Beauty, and I received this one. This was the Sweet Escape, and I just love the square pans, and I love the layout of this one. This was during the spring, and I just think how spring and Easter inspired, you know, when you have flowers blooming. And again, just a nice balance of kind of like the cooler tones with a couple of warm tones thrown in there. Nice balance of shimmers with the mattes. And they were, again, so blendable, so nice to work with. And again, very unique sort of shimmer shades that I don't have in other collections. And some really nice mattes. Like there's a beautiful lilac purple matte. And lilac, again, with some of these softer sort of taupey browns, just make for a really, really beautiful overall look that could really be smoked out. Like, I just think that those scream spring and Easter to me for sure. But this next one, I'm very familiar with the makeup line, Tarte Cosmetics, but really other than one other palette, I had never really experimented a lot with their eyeshadow palettes. And then I received this in my Boxycharm, which was the Tarte Sunrise palette. And you guys, for all my neutral gals out there, this truly is a neutral gal like dream. This 9-pan palette, it's just so easy. It is my kind of one and done. All the colors coordinate. It's so easy to find transitional colors, to darken it up a little in the outer corners, to pop on a little bit of shimmers. I just use this consistently almost every day at work, and it was just so easy to put on and really good wearability on these eyeshadows. So that was the Tarte Sunrise palette, and definitely a nice one to have if you are a neutral. Now the next three are smaller palettes, but they really have a very similar color story, which just happens to be a color story that I love. The first one I actually did receive, I believe it was one of the Power Picks by Boxycharm by Ipsy, and it was the Ciate of London Spice palette, which I hadn't even heard of. And when I opened it, you guys, I literally fell in love with it. I'm like, those are all the colors that I love to sort of work with. I think that when you use these kind of pinks and cranberries and stuff, and you have blue or you have green eyes, it really just makes them pop, any of those kind of warmer tones. And then you had a nice offset, you know, for transition, for deepening, and for outer corner, again, with some shimmers in here, 3 shimmers in total. I mean, look at this cranberry shimmer. Like, is that not screaming like Christmas? And I even grabbed it and I tried to do a little video YouTube tag where I wanted to tag people to inspire them to create sort of like cocktails or Christmas drinks that with their eyeshadow palette. It didn't take off, but I still enjoyed it, and there was a few people that sort of did the same kind of challenge with me, so that was really fun. But it's such a nice palette. And you know, the thing about Ciate of London is every now and then they just come out with some real zingers, and again, the price point is certainly more sort of drugstore. So really love, love, love this palette. Just love the layout, love the color story, and love, of course, the actual finished look. The next one is one that I picked up in the Boxycharm or Ipsy drop shop, and this one was on my radar. There was 2 eyeshadow companies for 2023 I wanted to try. This was one of them, Viseart from France. This is the Viseart Petit Pro Un, and it's just so sleek. It's so perfect for travel. Comes in that sleeve, the legends on the back. If you care to know the names of actual colors, then it has this really cute magnetic closure. I think quite so petite. It sort of screams French to me. And then this is the actual color story with this color guard. And you have 4 shimmers, and then you have 4 mattes at the bottom, and a lovely mirror that is just perfect for kind of like makeup touch-ups. But this is absolute perfection. It works beautifully. It has all the colors that you need here basically to make this work, to create a look that will go from day to evening. And then you can even further just kind of smoke it out, take any wet brush with any of these darker shades, and then you have a matching eyeliner. It's so intuitive, and it's really a beautiful, beautiful color. And if you've never tried Viseart quality, you need to treat yourself, because really is excellent quality eyeshadow. Here, this is by Dominique Cosmetics, who is a YouTuber and now a small indie makeup company. And I received this. This was a power pick, so it was really nice to receive. I just love the packaging. I kind of like this whole look in the front. And then again, it's that traditional sort of like 6-pan palette, but with those deeper merlots, which I think is just so beautiful. And then of course that's a Jaden she named after her son, and then she has this incredible kind of glitter topper, which is super fun when you have a more neutral palette, and then you have these extra little goodies for fun, because then you can really get kind of a liquid, kind of fun sort of party look by darkening it up with those. And I just think it was just so much fun as a palette to have. I'm so glad that I actually have it in my collection. I hope that if you were a Boxycharm by Ipsy subscriber, then you got this palette. Next small palette, actually, again, very similar, is one. Now, I am familiar with their eyeshadow palettes. They are still quite popular, I think more for the younger set, but honestly, they do have good quality eyeshadows. And this one, I just love the packaging. It's Too Faced Let's Play palette, and I just thought this 8-pan palette was really super cute. Again, that fits right into my comfort of colors that I like to use, and the nice balance of kind of like the bigger sort of like pans for kind of highlight. Then there's a matte, and then they have these really beautiful shimmers. The only thing I will say is I've only used them a handful of times. They already are starting to get hard panned, but I mean, you know, I don't know if that was just something I tried. I still have the Dominique Cosmetic glitter on, but I do think that those colors really are super pretty, and they just kind of help to create a very pretty soft look. And that kind of tangerine orange, I have to swatch it for you, I just think was very unique sort of color in this palette. You can see it there, and you don't get a lot of that tangerine orange. It's just not really that common, and I think that was super fun to play with, because you could really kind of elevate your kind of pink soft look with that particular one. And that was Too Faced Let's Play palette. The next one I have to tell you was in a drop shop. It cost me $12.99 US. This, I can't remember, but it retails for like $69 or more in Canada at the time. And the only place that carried this line was Sephora, and sadly they do not anymore. What am I talking about? I'm talking about this one. But I absolutely love Natasha Denona's eyeshadow formulas. Her mattes are probably one of the best matte formulas I've tried in all the brands over the years that I've tried. And what I loved most about this eyeshadow palette is how it was kind of divided by these neutral transitional colors in the center, and then you have this cool side, and then you have these 2 rows of warms. And it really just helps to create so many amazing looks that only Natasha Denona could help to create, and really takes the guesswork out of doing it for yourself, especially if you're not that familiar with makeup. The Zendo palette by Natasha Denona, so worth the $12.99 US I paid for with that one for sure. And the sad reality is, as a Canadian, that the only place that sold it where I could swatch it and see them was Sephora, and Sephora Canada no longer carries Natasha Denona, which is just incredibly sad. So the next one was a company that I have never tried, their eyeshadow palettes, and I have limited exposure over any of their other makeup products they have in their line. But I'm talking about Il Maquillage, which is this one here. Beautiful reflective packaging, Color Boss Master palette. And again, for the neutral gals, I just thought the layout was beautiful, and it is just a perfect everyday neutral palette. Again, we have all the shimmers on the bottom, all the mattes on the top, and I did a look with this. I just thought it was absolutely beautiful, so easy to blend. Wore really well and held up throughout the day. And you know, with these two darker colors, again, you have that opportunity to kind of step it up a notch and really create sort of a very grungy or smoky, sexy eye when need be. Otherwise, you stay in this area here and you can create a very soft, but almost like clean girl aesthetic eyeshadow look. And I love that for my everyday sort of look. So Elle Maquillage, this was the Color Boss Master Palette. This was a good. So the next palette, I believe right after that, was the big honkin' Ionic London. I really just did a look on my last video, I believe, the Get Ready With Me, and I wasn't sure when I first opened it. I thought for the price point that it stated, and it was good, but it wasn't really super exciting. There didn't seem to be any particular colors that really stood out to me, but never having used the formula, I thought, you know what, dive right in and just sort of get a sense of it, and I actually really liked the look that I created. But again, this is a relatively intuitive eyeshadow palette with a few sort of surprising sort of pops of color here, and then you have nice transitional and shimmers. So I can't complain about it. I don't know if I would have gone out and spent the $68 or $69 US. I think there's a lot of competition in that price point, but overall, given that I received it with my Boxycharm by Ipsy, I'm really happy. Earlier, you remember I was talking about Viseart was one of the eyeshadow palettes that was a goal for me that I wanted to actually try. So I got to order that Petit Pro Un and was not disappointed. The other one was Pat McGrath. The sad reality is that even though I have many eyeshadow palettes, I just really can't bring myself to rationalize $172 Canadian for a mothership palette. And I know they're good, like everybody talks about them. But I was over the moon excited when the last icon box was the Pat McGrath. And of course, in that we had this beautiful Pat McGrath Divine Rose Luxe Quad in Eternal Rose. You guys, it's really true what everybody says. The luxe packaging, the pigmentation, everything about this just screams luxury. And then when you open it up and you see these four fantastic, beautiful shadows, two mattes, two shimmers. They are literally everything that you would think Pat McGrath would be. Honestly, these four colors are just so perfect for creating that everyday, beautiful, soft pink, but with the opportunity to really take it up a notch by stepping up with any of these shimmers. I mean, look at this Eternal Rose color. Again, if you have blue or green eyes, these colors on your eyes just literally intensify those colors and really make them pop. And I think those pinks and those hues of browns are just so complementary on so many different skin tones. I think it's such a smart, intuitive, and beautifully packaged, luxurious experience to be able to have this quad. It really does, it really does make me want to go out and pick up at least a mothership. One mothership. So I'll have to do my research because I loved it. I love the packaging. I love the feel of them. I was overjoyed when I saw that that was in the actual Pat McGrath icon box. I was so excited about that. Recent power quad that I received, again, it was from Elle Maquillage, so there it is there. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. I have not swatched it, albeit I've opened it, talked about it, have my fingerprints all over that crazy reflective packaging by Elle Maquillage. But you guys, look at that. Almost screaming. They're the Pat McGrath. It's so similar, two shimmers, two mattes, but again, such usable usable everyday shades. And I know from my larger El Maquillage, like actual palette, that these are really beautifully pigmented mattes and the shimmers are lovely. So I know the quality is there, but you can see it is pristine. I have not put my fingerprints in there because I am saving this one for a giveaway. I am really going to try hard to work towards 1,000 subscribers. So if you're watching this and you are brand new and you're of that 45 plus kind of group and you're either a makeup maniac like myself or else you're really just getting into makeup, then I would love for you to subscribe. Of course, don't keep me a secret. Tell your girlfriends. Anyways, that's it. That was my collection for 2023, my Boxycharm by Ipsy palettes. I love them all. I think probably my two favorites have to go to the Natasha Denona Zendo palette, just because what a bargain at $12.99 for that. And then of course the beautiful Divine Rose Luxe Quad by Pat McGrath. Absolutely beautiful, but all of them are unique and they offer different options. They had different formulas, but all of them very nice, pleasant additions to my already existing makeup collection. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please smash that thumb, smash the like button, and any palettes that I have discussed, if you missed them, you can certainly just go and hit the description. It'll be all listed in the description bar down below. Until I see you next time, I hope that you have a wonderful December 28th. Take care, everybody.